Hello everyone and welcome to, what are we on, day 3? I'm losing count over here. Okay, so the talk today on the personal power is going to be around the wounded ego. And what do I mean by wounded ego? An ego is nothing but that inner child in us that has been wounded. People say, well, how does that happen? When we come into this world, we're so pure. We don't judge. We love everyone. We are acceptance of everyone. But maybe our environment isn't the healthiest. Some experience trauma, severe trauma. Others, it's still trauma, not quite maybe as severe as maybe someone being abused. But trauma to a child can be as simple as running up to mom and dad and wanting their attention. And mom and dad are busy, or they just came home from work and they're exhausted. And the parent just says, not now. We've all done it. But see, to that child, they feel rejected. My whole series on the birthrights, if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that. Because it explains the different birthrights. So you can see how that birthright of not being seen or accepted or being me can get disrupted when they feel rejected. It's not a deliberate thing that our parents or our caretakers do. Of course not. But to a child, they don't understand that. That's where the stories start occurring. That's when the more we experience those things, we create those stories and we come from that place of being the victim. The victim mentality is merely just the unhealed ego, that unhealed child, where things are happening to us instead of reframing it and saying things are happening for us. So, how do you heal your ego? When does it even show up? Typically, what ends up happening is you will see that shift in your children at puberty. That is when the ego is setting in. The consciousness is coming online. And all the years prior to that, all the experiences really start coming to the surface. Most people say, oh, puberty is because of the hormones. I'm not saying it's not because of the hormones. But you will see a drastic change in behavior with majority of the kids, depending on how much rejection or trauma they may have experienced in their younger years. And this is passed on from generation to generation. But I feel we have an opportunity now to start changing that. Start rewriting the patterns for our children and our grandchildren and their children and so on and so on. So the more we can understand the ego now and how can we have a healthy ego, an ego that is more on the soul power, like I had mentioned the other day, versus that hurt ego, then it gives us that space and opportunity to heal ourselves. So, can we do that by just doing affirmations all day? No. Is it a great start? Absolutely, it's a great start. Everything helps. But we can't just, and in the spiritual world, we'll say, namaste. We can't namaste it away. We can't, or heal it away. We can't, love and light it completely away. We have to look at it and we have to examine it, because that's how we really step in our power. We can see when we are doing it. Are we coming from that hurt ego state, where we are projecting our own inner emotions that we haven't released in a healthy way? Are we playing the victim and living in past experiences that were heartbreaking? Most people do. Most people have a really hard time to get out of the victimhood. But when they stay in that victimhood, they give their power away. When we live in past experiences, instead of, disassociating ourselves and looking at it as, what did I learn from this experience so I never have it again? Instead of replaying the same recording over and over and over and over again in our head and in our speech and in our thoughts and in our emotions. Because when we do that, we keep ourselves anchored in the past instead of moving forward and creating the life we truly want to live. Now that's stepping into your power. Why haven't we been taught this? Why have we always been taught the opposite? I don't know. Is it because maybe no one knew? I don't know. I personally don't believe that. I believe that's the reason why Jesus was here. I believe Jesus was here to show back then how much power we actually have. That we hold the power. Us, the light, we hold the power, but you have to step into the light. And in order to step into that light, you have to heal that wounded child, that ego, and take the shackles off, take the chains off, and come from that place of, loving yourself and being on this earth for a purpose, instead of just going through the motions of life, living in an unhappy state. Only you can save you. No one in the outside world can. The government can't, your doctors can't, your pastors can't. That piece of God, it's called Christ consciousness, that lives in your heart. When you tap into that, you tap into your power. You start healing. You start looking at your experiences as an opportunity to learn and grow. And you start creating more of the critical thinking of, okay, if I step back and I look at my experience, instead of from that, why is this happening to me, the poor me, which honestly, it just makes us sick. It makes our bodies sick. It makes our minds sick. We live a lesser life. I did it for years. So I'm coming to you from that place of experience and doing this inner work for the past 2 years, because 2 years ago when I had that towering event happen, I couldn't explain it at the time. But I experienced this calm knowing that the decision I was making to go on this healing path was coming from a place of love and understanding and compassion and empathy for everyone that was involved in this towering event. I didn't play the victim because I didn't realize this. I wasn't in my ego. But then, the more I lived in my head and kept on replaying the scenario over and over and over and creating this movie, to the point that I would have visions of things that I never actually witnessed, but I could see them in my mind. And it was keeping me trapped in my own living hell. That was the wounded child. That was the wounded ego that I had to see how it had been blocking me from not only truly loving myself deeply, but loving and opening myself up to receive love from others. Are you one that gives your power away to always doing for others, but you don't do for yourself? Or you don't open yourself up to receive from others? Because that is giving away your power. This topic, I could do a whole course on this topic. It's so large. I mean, well, that's the reason why I do the inner child healing with my clients. You know, there's stages. It's steps. But I do these videos, and I've said it before, to help those of you that maybe you're going through something. Maybe you're afraid to reach out to talk to someone. Maybe, you know, you've been to counseling and counseling isn't working for you. Maybe you haven't found another solution to help you. I just want you to know there are solutions out there, and you're not alone. We've all been through this. We all have an ego. We all have a wounded ego. And what has occurred in our society, around the world, I look at it as a blessing in disguise, because it's asking us to heal that inner child, that wounded ego. You have to see the darkness in order to step into the light. You have to unshackle yourself from that darkness. Where are the power plays happening around us? And if it doesn't feel good in your body, it's not in alignment with you. And what may be in alignment with me may not be in alignment with you, because, you know, we're all in different stages within our journey. But if you find yourself always complaining about circumstances that are outside of you and really are outside of your control, or they're past, but you're reliving them over and over and over and over again, you're not alone. We've all done it. But I encourage you to step back and ask yourself, what is being asked to be healed and nurtured? Are you going to continue to give your power away to that ex-husband or that ex-wife or that ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or that ex-boss or ex-job? Or the choices that you make, because that's all we have are choices, that maybe didn't turn out the way you wanted them to turn out. But who's to say they didn't turn out the way they were supposed to turn out so you could learn? Because everything is an opportunity. Everything we experience is an opportunity to learn. Because if you don't learn your lesson the first time, the universe is just going to knock on your door, and say, are you ready to learn? No? Okay. Until you finally say, I'm ready. And when you do, you step into your power. You're on that path of clearing and unshackling the ego, the hurt ego, and you're healing it so you can live in that place of inner peace and loving with a healed ego, where the outside world no longer affects you. The waitress that maybe wasn't as nice to you as maybe you would have been nice to somebody else. Because we never know what's going on with someone else. We never know what's going on with them. But when we react to whatever is going on with them, we give our power away. Because we usually step into our hurt ego, that wounded child that is just asking you, heal me, love me, understand me, and free me from these shackles. So I went a little bit deeper in this video. I just went on a tangent because that sometimes happens, and whatever I'm receiving to come in, I deliver. So sorry for the long video, but I hope this helps. Comment down below. Where are you hurting? Do you need help? I'm always offering complimentary sessions if anyone is interested in having one with me. I'm here to be of service to you and help you in your journey of healing and taking your power back. So have a wonderful Thursday, and comment down below. Was this video helpful? Do you need help? Because you're not alone. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. And if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and like so we can help more people. Get the word out. Help more people heal. This is a great opportunity for us to do that. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.